Hello, welcome to this episode of Nae Waste at St John's in the Hoose. Today we're going to show you how, when you're stuck inside, you can make something from recycled plastic using things that you have around the house. Now, we're going to cut some plastic, we're going to heat some plastic, so you need to get permission from whoever's in charge before you do this in your kitchen. And we're heating to a temperature of 165 degrees, so that is not even as hot as you would to heat a pizza. So if you're allowed to heat a pizza, you'll be okay to make this. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is get the plastic ready. Now we're going to use HDPE, so in the milk cartons here you have to check underneath that you have the recycling symbol and the number 2 or HDPE. And I've got these little yogurt pots as well, I've checked all them, they're all HDPE. So the first thing we need to do is to cut them up. Now just get your normal kitchen scissors and that'll cut into the milk carton, no problem like that. And the way I would do it is cut strips like this. So the next thing we need is the mould to melt our plastic in. And I'm going to use this little tuna tin. So if you've got a tin of tuna in the cupboard, get your tin opener. Okay, so now I've taken the label off the tin. So I've got my little mould there, and that's going to go in the oven and for us to melt the plastic. We're going to take half of the plastic, put it into your mould. Remember, with permission, I have permission, and then just pop that in the oven, and we're going to leave that for 15 minutes. So after 15 minutes, we're going to take the tin out of the oven. Now I'm going to take, if you've got a rolling pin in the house, I'm just going to use the end of the rolling pin like that, or if you've got a tin in the cupboard, that would do the same. Just damp it down a little bit like that, and then we'll put the rest of the plastic in the top like that. Now it looks quite full, but once it melts, that'll fill right down. Okay, and then pop it back in the oven, and that'll be for another 15 minutes. Okay, while that's melting, I'll show you the products that we're going to make today. I'm going to show you how you can make a little bowl, this kind of organic shaped bowl. I'm using it for my blueberries there, or you could use it, this one here, it's a little tea light holder. Or you could also make it into a coaster. There's a coaster for the mat, or maybe you could use your imagination, make it into maybe a little medal, and then you can award the medals in your own family for any competitions you've got going. I won the silver medal for being second best in my family at Kerplunk. Okay, so after another 15 minutes, you take it out of the oven carefully. Remember, it is hot. Okay, so what I'm going to do is try and take this out of the tin now. So just take a knife, just a normal knife, and then just work it around the edge like this. Now what I'm going to use, if you've got a piece of this baking paper, or you could just use ordinary paper at this temperature, that'll be fine. But this is still hot. Then we tip it out, we've got our bit of plastic like that. So what I'm going to do is now roll it out. Now if you've been cooking with Miss Mills, this is the kind of thing she does. So we just use the rolling pin if you've got one. If you've not got a rolling pin, you could use your can like that. Now just keep it on the paper. Remember, at 165 degrees, your paper is not going to burn in the oven. It'll be perfectly safe, and we'll just leave it in there for maybe 5 minutes, just to give it a chance to soften up a little bit. So you'll see it did get a little bit, it looks a little bit transparent when it gets hot in the oven. So then I put it in, this is the final time, and then just roll it out. Try and keep it as round as possible. And then what I'm going to do is pick it up and put it over the top of my can there to get the bowl shape. Okay, so we hold it over the top like that until it begins to cool down, and you'll see that that's given us a little bit of a dish, a little bit of a bowl shape. You can keep rolling it out, make it thinner and thinner, and make it a deeper bowl. So we just hold it on until it begins to cool down. It's not transparent anymore at all, and then we just lift it off the can, separate them, and there you have your finished little tray. hope you found that helpful, and it'll give you something to do while you're stuck in the hoose just now. Now, it'd be really great to find out what Professor Plastic thinks of this little project that I've made. Unfortunately, we don't live in the same house, that'd be madness. But luckily, we are neighbours. So I'm just going to pop this on his doorstep, and then he can tell us what he thinks of it.
Thanks, Doctor. Now get back to your own side of the fence. At times like these, it's really important to have great neighbours. Now, between you and me, we'll come a little bit closer. He only built that wee gate in my fence so he could come through and use my trampoline. Obviously, hand hygiene at this particular moment is incredibly important, especially if you've been outside. So I'm going to make sure I give my hands a good clean for 20 seconds. Wow. Fantastic, Doctor. That's another great video. Thanks for all the time and effort you've put into that. And I'm glad that you made it look so easy. Fantastic. Now, the Doctor's video brought up a couple of things that I would like to go over again. Now, firstly, the Doctor got permission from the Doctor's wife before he went and did this. Now, I think that's vitally important at this stage, that you get permission as well. Now, I would say even more than get permission, I would say do it with an adult. Now, you've got to remember, this is hot plastic. Now, while it's not incredibly hot, 160 degrees, if you get that stuck to your fingers, it's not going to be nice. I love the Doctor's idea of turning this into a medal, and congratulations on your Kaplunk success. Now, unfortunately, I played solitaire and I only came third in my family. A little bit disappointing. Now, the hygiene that the Doctor talked about was very important. Now, I know that he used a rolling pin, and it's perfectly safe for this plastic, but personally for me, the thought of it sticking to my rolling pin when I'm trying to make my bread isn't that great. So I've thought about a couple other things I could use. Now, I would perhaps suggest, rather than use a rolling pin, you could use an empty bottle and use that to roll out your plastic instead. Thanks again for joining us with this video, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed watching the Doctor in the kitchen. He seems quite a natural. Now, I'm going to try this in various locations around my house and see what uses I can put it to, and I'll post them up as separate things, or little clips or still images later on. Now, all it remains for me to do is to say that, remember, above all else at this time, stay safe and look after each other. And thanks again for joining us in this special episode of Nae Waste in the Hoose. That's the wrong video.